Now, this is Baruch here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pick up on a little drawing on the very last thing that we saw in the last year. And that was, the shir basically was saying that the YESOD of Ima, which contains the Das as their Anpin, stops here at the Chazet. And the YESOD of ABBA continues on right through it. So imagine, I don't know, doing the best I can with this, that you have this redness surrounding the blue. Now the light of ABBA, which we said before, is a very powerful energy. It can't be exposed to the outside, so it's always covered by Ima. And so therefore the light to get out into Zer Anpin, it would have to pass through the walls of the YESOD, that is the light of the Das, would have to pass through the walls of the YESOD of ABBA, and then the YESOD of Ima in order to be able to get out. And so that this area is closed. We call it closed. But what happens is that this stops, the YESOD of Ima stops here. As a result of that, she has within her Chasadim and Gevuros. They fly out like this. They just open anew. That's called in Gilui. There's nothing there to wrap them. They're not closed in anything. Up above here, there was some clothing in the walls, but now there's nothing. So that's called in Gilui. And the YESOD of ABBA goes all the way down. Now, it used to be the YESOD of ABBA was covered by the YESOD of Ima, and so therefore it didn't shine. But now it's shining like crazy because there's nothing wrapping it. It's inside a Zer Anpin and it's shining. And this is his point. This is that if this is the front of Zer Anpin, then the YESOD of ABBA, which continues down all the way to here, is going to produce another partzuf around it. This is called the partzuf of Yaakov. And then, I read the wrong color, so excuse me, Yaakov's supposed to be blue. So please excuse me, a little purplish. So then we'll come over here, and here you have a different situation. It's not the unexposed, the now exposed YESOD of ABBA coming all the way down into the YESOD of Zer Anpin, but over here we have the Gilui of the lights that have no YESOD around them, and so therefore those lights are going to come over and influence and create another partzuf. We'll use English, and we'll call it Rachel. Okay, that's important to know that here we have Zer Anpin, and now we have a Yaakov and Rachel, and they're related to the FX of the two YESODs of ABBA ve'Ima, who normally, except in this case, travel completely together. Now let's see the end of this Zohar, this Tiv, and let's see how it goes. So he says, Va'ata navo levoyer divrei harav zal b'masher kosov. And now we're going to come and we're going to explain what the Rav is talking about. He said, so we're quoting actually the words of the Rav, and the Rav says, Shinui acher sheyesh bein shachros. There's another difference between morning prayers, between Mincha and Ma'ariv, and the Mincha and the Ma'ariv prayers. V'zivuk dechatzos alayla, and also there's another one of a yichud that takes place at midnight. He said, Ki hinei ba'ofen klali. In a general sense, we could say like this: B'chol yom v'yom kaseder. Every day, as we see it in its order. Na'asim arba yechudim. There are 4 different yechudim. Now, these yechudim, what they mean to say is that the ways, this is a place where opposites, like male and female, come together and make one. How do we develop these Yehudim? So the Yehudim are developed as a result of the service of the Jewish people, that is our prayers and our Torah study. Because when they start praying, they make a yichud in worlds of shefa up above. Now he says like this, switches a little bit, I think he means that 3 of these 4 Yehudim, Elu, Na'asem, B'Tefilas Amida, are made when we're saying the Shemona Esrei. And this is should be called Tefilah B'Shaloshtam, Tefilas Na'asa Yichud, because all of the prayers, the purpose of the prayer is of our Shemona Esrei, and all of the prayer, the whole prayer from the beginning to the end, is for the purpose of making a Yichud. V'yesh Yichud Revi, but there's also a 4th Yichud, Hana'asa ayidech b'kriya shema, which is made as a result of saying the kriya shema shalamita before you go to bed. V'hu hanikra b'kol makom yichud dechatzos alayla. In any case, it's called the yichud that takes place at midnight. Kevan shachazaman shebo na'asa hayichud, because the time in which that yichud takes place is really chatzos layla. That's a whole story, another story, which we've seen a little bit in the Zohar and in different places. But he says the time for, even though that you may go to sleep before midnight, the kavana is that when you say the Kriya Shema is that there should be a chalois, or that the falling down on that time, that is the chalois of midnight, is when that's the right way to say it. Is that your Shema, your Kriya Shema should take place. It actually should fall at midnight, even though you're not doing it at midnight. I don't know if I said it right, but it's the best I can do. Through that Kriya Shema Lamita, so we have in mind that it's going to be chal for this yichud that takes place at midnight. And even if you say it before chatzos, Sharak Oz Hu Zaman Shal Yichud, because only at midnight is the time of the yichud. Because normally, for most people, people start sleeping at that time. So we're going to get into the rest of this in the next year, but right now this is Baruch Fleischman for the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and I think this is the 25th year in the Ariha Kodesh and changes in Tefillah. It could be that next week we're going to start looking at Purim. This is Baruch Fleischman.